Born into slavery, Booker T. Washington changed the landscape for African Americans, particularly those who sought out trades and vocational education. From slavery to a promising philanthropist, teacher, educator, and businessman, Booker T. Washington paved the way for a lot of African Americans. He became a thought leader during a time in which he walked this earth, and that was great for us. He established the Tuskegee Institute, which is the campus that I'm on currently, and I will show you some of the amazing buildings and ambience on this campus, as well as his house, Washington G. Carver's laboratory, Booker T. Washington's grave, and of course, I'm standing in front of his actual statue. Now, Booker T. Washington was very popular during this time, but he was very unpopular to another thought leader named W.E.B. Du Bois. Two giants with different approaches to self-reliance, freedom, equality for African Americans. Booker T. Washington's approach was self-reliance, trade vocation, independence, and segregation. He felt that the way to prosperity in America was to first establish your independence, establish your economic system, and so his counterparts will accept him or them during that particular time and help to integrate, and this would lead to integration of them into their culture and society. W.E.B. Du Bois' approach was no, education from higher ed institutions. Vocational programs were fine, but education first. Seek integration, seek equality, seek equity, seek all the things that makes us equal to our counterparts. They clash with these different philosophies and these different approaches for the way to the African American freedom in America, which led to years of debating issues amongst the two giants. Although we can have opposing views on whether Booker T. Washington's approach for African American self-resiliency or W.E.B. Du Bois's approach was the best, we have to acknowledge that Booker T. Washington was a great, extraordinary man, a genius, a businessman, a family man, and a soldier for the freedom of African Americans. The Tuskegee Institute, in which he established, still stands today, and it still teaches and educates people across the globe, not just within America. Kids come from foreign countries just to attend this institution to experience the greatness of Booker T. Washington's legacy. I'm standing here on campus at his gravesite, paying homage to a man that gave so much to me, gave so much to us as African Americans, and gave so much to our counterparts. His contribution to African American and the concept of trade and self-resiliency and independence grew beyond Tuskegee. It also led to a relationship that he had with Rosenwald, a Jewish man who agreed with Booker T. Washington's approach for self-resiliency and education amongst African Americans, particularly in rural populated areas. During Jim Crow era, segregation was the heartbeat of white America, and that was the prevention of education and advancement of black people. Well, Rosenwald saw the opportunity, given that he had made millions off Sears and Roebuck as an investor. Sears, which is Sears today, met with Booker T. Washington, and they worked together to establish the Rosenwald schools in rural America. Together, they built and invested in over 4,000 schools across southern states to ensure that African Americans had access to education. But just imagine parents who had a son who was born into slavery and who changed the social structure of African Americans in America. Just imagine the joy, the elation, the happiness, the sense of pride. I mean, that's different. I mean, today, that's something that we we still have a chance today to make a huge change in America as it relates to African Americans, particularly since we were being attacked through having policies such as affirmative action and diversity, equity, inclusion. We still can pave the way. There still is a hero within us. But just imagine how proud your parent will be to be able to experience your greatness and to walk amongst you and walk amongst greats. George Washington Carver did a lot of his work inside this building. This was his actual laboratory in which he came up with a lot of the innovations that we know today, that we experience today. If you're in the field of botany or horticulture or farming, a lot of the things that you're doing today came from this actual building. He's a giant amongst giants. And as I said, although there was a contentious relationship because he loved the laboratory, he loved research, and Booker T, Washington wanted him to be more administrative and seek funding to support his laboratory and the classroom. He felt at peace, he felt at home inside his laboratory. There is a section in the laboratory that shows some of the last research that he worked on that I really would like to see but cannot access today because of what's taking place with the actual Carver Museum. But hopefully next year I will be able to access and see that amazing work that he put forth, and you will be able to see it too. But remember now, when we think of Booker T. Washington, we cannot think of him without thinking of George Washington Carver. Booker T. Washington built something special. Now, I am not a HBCU graduate, Historical Black University graduate, and I am a non-traditional student. I started my educational path in my late 20s, and I finished my path in my mid-40s, where I achieved my doctoral degree. However, if I could do it all over again, and I'm speaking directly to the parents of young African-American boys and girls or minority students, is even majority students, is you have to allow your kids to experience this wealth of greatness, this wealth of richness, and learn to stand on the shoulders of greatness. There's a lot of greatness on Tuskegee University's campus, as well as Howard University, Spelman, Morehouse, Philander Smith, Lemoyne College, and so forth. But pick and choose between either. Your children needs to be immersed in the experience of the African American culture and experience that richness of the time that has passed by and today. Directly across from Tuskegee Institute, or modern-day Tuskegee University, is Booker T. Washington's Oates home, or Oates House. It's considered a part of the National Park property today. He has a 3-story mansion with a basement, patio around the house, and according to history and research, there was over 3,000 acres here during the time of his life. But as you can see, the house behind me, this great man, you sit in those room, or let me say in that room, and in his office, and think of ways to grow and to get funding for this institution. Think of new scientific buildings or administrative buildings to put on this actual campus. Think of people to recruit and hire, such as George Washington Carver, to lead the scientific, the horticulture, agriculture, scientific research. Just within his house, he created a lot of magic. We can call it alignment with the universe. We can call it connection with God through prayer and meditation. But we can see the manifestation of the wealth of ideas and the wealth of passion that he put forward for his people.